God of Jacob, God of power, everlasting Father, great eagle come down from heaven, clothed with a cloud, with a rainbow upon your head, your face is as the sun, and your feet are as pillars of fire. Open your little book in judgment, put in your sickle, and reap the earth. If any man worship the beast and his image, and receive his mark in his forehead, or in his hand, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of God, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation, and he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels, and in the presence of the Lamb, and the smoke of their torment ascendeth up for ever and ever, and they have no rest day nor night, who worship the beast and his image, and whosoever receiveth the mark of his name. Then shall the righteous shine forth as the sun in the kingdom of their Father. Who hath ears to hear, let him hear. May the land produce for the righteous fruits of delight, and we shall eat and grow fat. And there shall be no miscarriage in our land, and no sickness, and no blight or mildew shall be seen in its produce. All glory and honor to Yahweh, Allah, the Most High. You are the God of Jacob, and we praise your holy name. We are the tribes. We are the Yakits and Mono peoples, and the Alaskan tribes, and the Hawaiian tribes, and the Cherokee, and the Iroquois, and the Navajo, and the Paiute, and the Ute people, and the Apache, and the Odawa, and the Sioux, and the Shoshone, and the Cheyenne, and the Colorado River Indian tribes, and the Ute Mountain Ute tribe, and the Iowa people, and the Iroquois, and the Omaha people, and the Crow people, and the tribes of Bear River, and the Matale, and the Lasik, and the Nogatl, and the Patwin, and the Winton, and the Yana, and the Yahi, and the Yurok, and the Tumash, and the Aliklik, and the Kitanamuk, and the Serrano, and the Kahula, and the Kumeai, and the Maidu, and the Winton, and the Sinkione, and the Wailuki, and the Kato, and the Yoki, and the Pomo, and the Wapo, and the Monash, and the Yakits, and the Costanoan, and the Esalen, and the Salinan, and the Tubajulable, and the Keruk, and the Kahulino, and the Mojave, and the Yakuts, and the Pawnee people, and the Quechan, and the Nez Perce, and the Shawnee tribe, and the Sauk people, and the Seneca-Cayuga nation, and the Meskwaki, and the Juanano, and the Esalen, and the Kumeai, and the Little Shell tribe of Chippewa Indians of Montana, and the Matoul, and the Rappahannock people, and the Biloxi people, and the Chumash people, and the Yakima, and the Pima people, and the Osage nation, the Kikopu, the Iowa, the Oto, the Ponca, the Kaw, and the Huma people, and the Citizen Potawatomi nation, and the Wyandot nation, and the Fort Sill Apache, and the Modoc nation, and the Delaware nation, and the Keos, and the Hidatsa, and the Sac and Fox nation, and the Ho-Chunk, and the Great Sioux nation, and the Mohawk, and the Mandan, and the Yavapai Prescott tribe, and the Pascua-Yaqui tribe, and the Miwok, and the Porch Band of Creek Indians, and the Wampanoag people, the people of the first light. Amen.
This is April Schulthies, using the computer to generate this message. Why am I generating this message? There is a hidden euthanasia, a silent genocide, just to amuse or please immoral people. This is April Schulthies, and they tried to put me down. I'm a virgin. It's not really on purpose. I'm just not married, so they tried to put me down. You could be put down, too, and you may never even see it coming. This is April Schulthies. Native America is a covenant land, given by the Lord to his covenant people for a perpetual possession. The forgotten genocide of Native Americans on the American continent was not forgotten by God, was not forgotten by God. This is April Schulthies, using the computer to generate this message. My brother, Rendell Barry Schulthies, is dead. My brother, Todd Parrish Schulthies, is dead. My niece, Celeste Schulthies Conway, is dead. All dead, immoral people, today, are still using genocide for gain and amusement. They want me dead, too. This is Rome, and they decided to put me down. They don't need a reason, but I am an unmarried virgin past 50. I survived, so they are calling me a botched kill and they want to clean up the mess and finish the job. They don't want me to have any more birthdays. They poison my dogs. They used COVID as an excuse to take away my job, my health insurance, my phone, my internet. They blocked my 403b money and my retirement. They cut my power. They denied my unemployment. They also attacked my vehicles, disabling them and trying to tow them, again and again. This is April Schulthies, and I want to live, not die for any reason, for with long life the Lord will satisfy me. This is Rome, and Rome wants you to die in the arena. Rome is still here. Rome crucified Christ and created Christianity to cover up the genocide of Jews, Africans, Muslims, Russians, Irish, Celts, Japanese, Chinese, Aborigines, Vietnamese, Koreans, Hmong, Hawaiians, Eskimos, Native Americans, and more. Mexicans are dying on the border every day. Never, never forget. Never. The scriptures say, do not set up another god with Yahweh, Allah, the Most High, lest you become condemned and damned. Your Lord has commanded that you worship none but Him. California has innocent Native American blood on its hands. This is April Schulthies. The state of California funded the genocide of Native Americans with millions of dollars and stole their lands. Why were those lands never returned? In 2019, Governor Newsom talked about healing, but the stolen lands were not returned. California took these lands by genocide. It was mass murder, genocide, and yet California never gave these lands back to the Native Americans to whom they belong. This is April Schulthies. America has shed innocent blood of indigenous peoples. Countless Native Americans were slaughtered in the Sand Creek Massacre on November 29, 1864. A former Methodist minister, John Chivington, a volunteer in the U.S. military, laid in wait and led a surprise attack on peaceful Cheyennes and Arapahoes. These tribes were on their reservation at Sand Creek in southeastern Colorado, and flying the American flag. They were under the protection of the United States. That terrible winter morning, the Native American tribes raised a white flag of surrender, but the U.S. military, knowing the peaceful nature of the encamping tribes, ignored the American flag and the white flag. The slaughter was terrible, and Chivington was not punished, although he cavorted through streets with Indian body parts, including genitalia, taken from the peaceful Native Americans that he slaughtered. Yet the U.S. never returned the lands they stole from Native Americans during this and other massacres. We need to show we are for justice. Justice. Give these lands back to the tribes, all of them. This is the end of the 1,000 years tribulation. Psychic predators are using hypnosis and the science of the mind to control and manipulate you. The Bible calls them demons. This is April Schulthies, and I am not happy, and will not be happy, until every demon is removed from the earth. Lucifer and his minions must be cast into the lake of hellfire and brimstone that ascends forever and ever. I pray daily for the Lord to destroy the destroyers. This is April Schulthies, using the computer to generate this message. We're in Rome. Rome is into conquest and killing. It does not convert. Rome crucified Christ and created Christianity to cover up the genocide of Jews, Africans, Native Americans, and more. Rome did not convert to Christianity, but kept its triumvirate and renamed it Trinity. Rome is still here. Rome is into violence and genocide. I am a victim of genocide. They killed my brothers and my niece, and came after me, too. Protect yourself. Psychic predators are using hypnosis against you constantly. They call themselves practitioners of the science of the mind. The Bible calls them demons. Practice psychic self-defense against predators. Do not have sex. Do not eat meat. Read the Bible. Respect all life. Look at the sigil. Hebrew reads from right to left. Think, God of Heron, God of Paddan Aram, arise, and defeat your enemies. The Lord shall smite the wicked with madness, and blindness, and astonishment of heart, and the wicked shall grope at noonday, as the blind gropes in darkness, and they shall not prosper in their ways, and they shall be only oppressed and spoiled evermore, and no man shall save them. The ritual is complete. This is April Schulthies. On December 16, 1773, the Sons of Liberty in Boston, Massachusetts, disguised themselves as Native Americans and boarded 3 British sea vessels in an act of rebellion against the British. The colonists destroyed the cargo of the East India Company, said to be a shipment of tea. As far as the British government was concerned, the colonists were committing treason, with harsh penalties. Why did the colonists frame Native Americans? The Native Americans were not involved. The colonists used disguises to look like they were Mohawk warriors, when they weren't. They were seeking to blame Native Americans in an act that has been called more cowardly than patriotic. I call it intentional, planned, Targeted genocide. What happened to the Native American tribes in retribution for the Boston Tea Party? Were whole tribes wiped out, with none left alive to tell? History remains ominously silent. Silent, because the injustice done to Native Americans was ignored. The Boston Tea Party. It was not a party for innocent Native Americans. We need justice. We need to return all of the lands taken from Native American tribes. All of them. This is April Schulthies. In the book, The Seventh Sense, The Secrets of Remote Viewing as Told by a Psychic Spy for the U.S. Military, by Lynn Buchanan, the author admits that the CIA was using controlled remote viewing, acronym CRV, on targets. CRV makes it possible for them to see and know what targets are doing from a distance, and even control a target's thoughts and actions. When caught, the CIA claimed it declassified and discontinued the program, but it really just changed the name from Center Lane to Sunstreak and continued operations in secret. The military is using the science of the mind against you. You are not free in America. This is Rome. You are not safe.